Hi, I'm David, and I'm on my own today. Gail is busy editing her book on local Winnipeg architect J.D. Atchison, so she's quite busy at doing that. But what I'm here to talk about is how you can cut costs taking your V-Rail train trip. Now, we see a lot of comments about how expensive it is to travel on via rail trains, particularly the Canadian, and in particular compared to flying or driving that same distance. Now, it's true that the cost does seem kind of high on the face of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the many ways you can save money on your VIA rail trip, and then how that compares to plane and car travel, again, taking that same trip. So let's take a hard look at the options to train travel. I mean, are they really that much cheaper? Now, the regular price for a berth on the VIA Rail Canadian from Toronto to Vancouver, departing on October 22nd in 2025. And I chose that date because it's far enough off in the future that it's not going to be likely less subject to demand pricing that affects not just train travel, but also air travel as well. So anyways, a berth would cost, on that particular date, would cost $1,358, and an economy seat in the coach section of the train would cost $515. Now, on that very same date, an Air Canada flight from Toronto to Vancouver would cost $358, and that's for an economy flex ticket that includes, at least it includes a seat and a checked bag, so it's a little bit more comparable to the kind of service you would get in either a berth or in an economy coach seat. Now, that's an impossibly low price to beat, although the VIA Rail economy coach seat certainly does come close. But if you want to compare apples to oranges, really you have to look to the lowest business class fare on Air Canada. And that fare is $1,358, which exactly matches that of a berth on the Canadian. Now, the difference, of course, is that on the train, you get a scenic 4-day vacation thrown in at no extra cost. And you actually get a real bed, and you actually get real food, restaurant quality food served in a restaurant setting, not food prepared in a shed next to the airport and kept warm for hours before being served to you. But you say, I can drive to Vancouver at a much lower cost than that. Well, that might have been true when we were 20 years old and driving 18-hour days fueled with gas station coffee and hot dogs. But let's get real, we're not 20 years old or anything close to that age. It's a 46-hour, 4,400 kilometer drive. And for us, that's 5 days of driving at a more realistic pace of 8 hours a day. Now, along the way, we'll be finding cheap roadside hotels for 4 nights, optimistically costing about $150 a night, or a total of $600. Now, we'll be driving in our 14-year-old Prius hybrid, which gets about 5.5 liters per 100 kilometer on the highway. And with gas costing $1.54 per liter, which is the Canadian average in early February of 2025, that's $373 in gas. Now, along the way, if we stick to diners and fast food outlets, always a healthy choice, we might just get away with $20 per meal, and over 5 travel days, that's $600 in total for the two of us. Now, throw in a $50 oil change as some minimal compensation for the wear and tear on our car, and we have a grand total of $812 with 2 people in the car sharing the cost equally. Now, if you take that same trip as a solo occupant of the car, then the cost would be then $1,323. So you can see that the cost is maybe a little bit better with the 2 people in the car, but definitely not very good if you're just driving solo. And yes, you might say that you're driving through some pretty scenic territory, but as a driver, are you really enjoying it? I really don't think so. So let's take a close look at how you can reduce the price of your VIA Rail ticket and make it an even better deal. Now, first and foremost, you want to make sure that you sign up for a VIA Rail account, and you do this on the VIA Rail website. So from the homepage, you first click on the My VIA Rail button, which is up in the right-hand corner. And then from there, you click Create a Profile from the drop-down menu, and then enter the information as required. It'll be your name, your password, an email address. And then after that, you do two very important things. First off, you want to click on yes, send me emails. And this will then ensure that you get Via Rail's Discount Tuesday newsletters via email every week. And here you'll find deals for at least 50% off select routes and classes of travel. And once or twice a year, they will offer significant savings ranging from 25% to 40% off. Now, Black Friday seems to be a common time for these deep discounts. Second, click on the subscribe button to set up a Via Preference Rewards account. Now, right off the bat, you'll get 500 points just for joining, and then after that, you'll earn 1 point for every dollar you spend on Via Rail tickets. Now, there are 3 status tiers to the preference program, and it doesn't seem to take that long to get up to the second privilege tier, and that's where Gail and I are right now. And once you get there, then you'll get bonus coupons for either free points or 20% discounts for Via Rail travel. Now, in the last 2 years, we've used points for 2 free sleeper class bedrooms, one from Toronto to Winnipeg and the other from Winnipeg to Vancouver. And it didn't seem to take that long actually to earn those points to make that happen. If you travel with a partner, make sure the partner signs up for the Preference Rewards program as well. Even though I purchased tickets for the both of us, the points are given separately to my preference account and to Gail's preference account. Now, Gail can then transfer her points to my account at no cost, so then I can use them for an upcoming trip for the two of us. However, if Gail doesn't have an account, then those points will be lost forever. So it's really important for everybody involved to have their own preference account. If you're a member of the Canadian Automobile Association, or the CAA, then Via Rail offers substantial discounts. On the Canadian, economy coach seats are 15% off, cabins for 1 or 2 people are 10% off, but berths are a very decent 20% off. Now, on the Ocean, which runs between Montreal and Halifax, economy coach seats are 15% off, and Sleeper Plus cabins are 10% off. Now, there's a CAA page on the Via Rail website. If you go, I'll put the link in the description below, but if you go there, type in your CAA number, any bookings from then on will then automatically show the discount applied. Now, Via Rail also has a deals and discounts page on their site with discounts for specific groups of people. Unfortunately, senior citizens, 65 years and older, no longer get a discount, which is kind of a bummer for us. However, children under 2 do travel free, and children aged 2 to 12 get a reduced fare, and that's 50% off in economy coach and 25% off in the Sleeper Plus class. Hostel International or HI members get 10% off, and members of the Canadian military and vets get 25% off. Canadian Indigenous people get 33% off per person. So as you can see, there's lots of opportunities there to save some money, so it's really worth investigating to see if any of those apply to your situation. Now, there's also several cost-saving strategies that you can play with on your own. Gail and I happen to think that berths on the Canadian are an excellent way to get all the benefits of the Sleeper Plus class at the lowest possible cost. And you can save a bit more if you're comfortable climbing up to an upper berth, because a lower berth would cost an additional $245, using the example of our October 22 trip from Toronto to Vancouver. Now, for couples, if you can snag 2 upper bunks in opposing compartments, then you can at least sit across the aisle from each other during the day, or better yet, spend your time in the observation dome cars, either in the Skyline car or in the park car at the back of the train. Also, try to purchase your tickets as far in advance as possible, 6 months in advance if you can swing it. Pricing fluctuates quite a bit based on demand, so the further out you can reserve, the more likely you are to get the lowest possible price. And you'll also get the best selection of accommodation choices. On the Canadian, we've noticed that cabins for 1 and 2 people tend to sell out first. And if you're hoping to book upper berths, those also sell out first. Now this may seem counterintuitive, but we recommend purchasing a full price regular fare ticket as opposed to a discounted ticket. It only adds $68 to our $1,358 October 22nd berth ticket, but it offers complete flexibility. You can cancel out of your trip for a full refund right up to the departure date. And even better if you buy your ticket 6 months early, and if there happens to be a good Discount Tuesday sale in the meantime, just cancel out of your current ticket and then immediately repurchase it at the discounted price. We've done this. A 40% Black Friday sale happened to come up, so we phoned Via Rail customer service and asked them to cancel our full price tickets and rebook at the discounted rate all at once, so we didn't lose our cabin for two in the process. And at the very least, you can purchase a ticket early on knowing that you can back out if your plans happen to change. So that's the full range of money-saving tips that we are aware of. If you happen to have your own tips, be sure to let everybody know in the comments below. So how do these tips play out with our October 22nd, 2025 trip from Toronto to Vancouver by plane, train, and automobile? Now you should be able to get that Via Rail economy coach seat on October 22nd for $455 based on upgrading to a fully refundable ticket and a 15% reduction through CAA or a Discount Tuesday deal. And that upper berth ticket for the same date would cost $1,144 based on a fully refundable regular fare and a 20% CAA discount. However, if a 40% deal is announced before that train leaves the station, we can trade in our tickets for a $321 coach seat or an $858 upper berth. And suddenly traveling by train becomes a more affordable option compared to flying or driving. And as we said, you get a 4-day holiday thrown in for free. So I hope you found this video helpful in planning your own cross-country travel plans. We really appreciate your support. So if you did like this video, please consider clicking that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe to Travel Intently, please consider doing so. We sincerely appreciate your support. We love bringing our adventures to you, and we really hope to encourage you to perhaps undertake a similar kind of adventure, whether it happen to be on foot or by train. We certainly look forward to seeing you on our further adventures. So in the meantime, this is David signing off and Gail signing off. See you next time.